Good afternoon and welcome to SnapTech IT's specialty webinar for the month of June 2026. My name is Ted Holsey. I'm Chief Revenue Officer with SnapTech IT and your co-host for today's event. Thanks for joining in for the live session. This webinar will be recorded and circulated to all registrants. You can always visit us on our YouTube channel for all of our content on demand. Today's topic is what's new with ChatGPT for business. I'm joined today by my colleague, Nathan Caldwell, who's our marketing manager here at SnapTech IT. Nathan, thanks for joining in for today's session.
Oh, thank you, Ted. Glad to be here.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining in the live session. Please ask questions as we go along. Nathan and I are going to be tag teaming the presentation of today's content. But while the other guy is speaking, we will be looking at the Q&A log and we'll try to address your questions in real time. So one thing we try to do at the beginning of all these sessions is for the folks who may not know us very well, just spend 1 or 2 minutes introducing who we are. SnapTech IT, we are a cybersecurity first managed IT provider with operations in Atlanta, Georgia, Phoenix, Arizona, and the San Francisco Bay Area. When clients come to us, they usually bring technology challenges. They might be struggling with their current provider. They might feel like their technology is long in the tooth and is holding them back. They might be losing sleep over cybersecurity concerns. Our philosophy is that technology should be solving problems in your business, not creating them. And so what we try to do when we bring on a new client is we implement our proven process. Every client we have has a technology plan, a predictable IT budget. We implement our best practices across their environment. We fully secure their environment so their employees can work securely wherever they are. And then things will break. It's technology. Technology does break. Users do need help. And we are there every day to help our clients with fast and friendly IT support. Ultimately, the goal is you're able to focus on your business and you have the peace of mind that you have a business partner who's looking after your cybersecurity posture. We engage with clients in 2 different ways. If you're a smaller organization and there's nobody with IT on their badge on your staff and you turn to us for help, that's what we call fully managed IT. Everything is outsourced to SnapTech. If you're a larger organization and you have an IT director, an IT manager, or maybe a whole IT team, we can supply what's called co-managed IT, where we come alongside you and put together a customized IT outsourcing solution for your organization. When clients get started with us, they usually will engage us in 1 of 2 sorts of projects, a cybersecurity risk assessment for their environment, and now more than ever, organizations are looking to us to help them turbocharge what they're doing with AI. Lots and lots of organizations are experimenting like crazy with AI, but almost every executive we talk to feels like things are a little out of control, not properly secured, and not properly organized for organizational success. And so we really help try to solve that particular problem as well. Let's take a look at today's agenda. We're going to be talking about ChatGPT for business. There's lots of AI solutions on the market. What's pretty unique about ChatGPT is this was the first solution on the market. Now, ChatGPT admittedly kind of captured the imagination of users and business people with their consumer product first, and only later introduced business-grade versions of these products. What we're going to focus on today is what is the business version, what are some of the unique capabilities of it, and how should you be thinking about it as a potential solution for your organization. And then we're going to have practical demos. So Nathan and I are going to tag team this section. We're going to show you how to connect ChatGPT to your existing applications. In most cases, organizations are either using Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace. We're going to show how to connect ChatGPT to those environments and leverage it. We're going to look at custom GPTs or agents. We're going to look at ChatGPT Codex, which is their desktop application, and a host of other use cases. And again, we're going to try to tackle your questions as we go along. So just a couple comments about the overall market before we dive into the demos. really one of the key themes in the overall AI ecosystem is that it's really hard to build a highly profitable business going after exclusively consumers. So ChatGPT, when it first came out, was really much designed as a kind of a consumer or prosumer type application. Of course, if you look at Apple and Google, there are massive organizations that have cracked the code on delivering technology to consumers, but it takes a lot of effort to do it. It's really quite hard, and there's a lot more profit opportunities for businesses to use these technologies. And so this is a news story that's just talking about how one of OpenAI's major competitors, Anthropic, has kind of struck out a big lead in the enterprise and business space, and ChatGPT finds itself, or OpenAI with ChatGPT finds itself very much in a catch-up position. But
yeah, and Ted, that article was like everywhere. That article was on PBS News. That article, like when I came across it, it was everywhere. That they are showcasing, they are trying to really emphasize the fact that ChatGPT is now really focused on the business sector.
Yeah, and I mean, some of its features, some of its pricing and packaging and positioning. But I mean, it's impressive. Over 5 million business users worldwide have ChatGPT. Right. I mean, what I would say is that what we see in most organizations today is that AI implementation is usually like the executive team who have put their corporate credit cards down, and you've got 5 to 10 people in the company using ChatGPT premium versions, or ChatGPT for business, or in some cases ChatGPT Plus. Beyond that, I see especially in the SMB market, there's a big cliff. You have a lot of organizations that have adopted Copilot. You have lots of people who are very enthusiastic about Anthropic's Claude solution. But in most organizations, it's a single executive business leader who's plunked down a credit card to utilize this solution. And I think this will shift. This will shift. Organizations will get their sea legs. They'll make standards. They'll make decisions for the whole organization and move forward in a more organized fashion. I think the past 2 years have been really characterized by a ton of experimentation. What you do see is that ChatGPT utilization does cluster in a couple different industry segments. So technology, for sure, the finance arena, professional services, fields like the law or accounting, CPAs, that sort of thing. And then you have other industries that are maybe more manual intensive and less information intensive, and adoption is happening there too, but not at the same pace. And in this, what we're trying to do on this slide is just to show you that ChatGPT was introduced back in 2022, so we're going on 4 years now. They introduced in 2023 the enterprise version. They've changed the name several times on what they call the product for the business market, the SMB market. So you have ChatGPT Team for Teams was the old name. Now they just call it Business ChatGPT. And a lot of new features have been introduced in the past year, and that's really what we're going to be showcasing today. Just to get everybody's heads around where things sit on the individual pricing and packaging, lots and lots of people use ChatGPT Plus. So when I talk about, groups of executives who just plunk down their corporate credit card to buy something, that's what they're buying in most cases is Plus. There's people who are power users, people who have gone super deep with this technology and need the extra capacity and features that you get from the most powerful prosumer model, and that would be the Pro package. And then Go is, the latest kind of, maybe now the prosumer main offering for $8 a month. But when we look over at the business market, when we're talking about the SMB market, so you're talking, say, companies that are, 5 to 500 employees, that space. Probably the most common package we're talking about is business ChatGPT and Codex, and that runs $20 per user per month, and that's really what we're going to showcase today, primarily. So in any event, that's just it's good to give a little bit of context on how where the licensing schemes, because the it's changing. It changes a lot. I mean,
so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's Nathan and I produce a lot of webinar content and white papers and guides for our partners, and it's a full-time job keeping up with all the newsworthy things that are happening in this market. And just because there's a ton of competition. You've got Microsoft, Google, OpenAI, Anthropic, to some degree Amazon. They're a big investor in Anthropic. All these Titanic type technology companies battling for our attention and battling for our token dollars, and it's pretty confusing to keep track of all this stuff, because stuff gets announced, promos get rolled out, price actions get quietly dropped or sometimes broadly announced. But anyway, ChatGPT for Business is where we're going to focus today.
Yeah, and something else too that I want everybody in the audience to know about, Ted, is something that you and I talk about often, is the feature sets change very, very frequently without any enablement rollout from these big AI companies. So all of a sudden your buttons move and change, or all of a sudden, you were able to do one thing and now you aren't able to do it anymore, or the process has totally changed. And so even when we're getting ready for these webinars, what we are showing you is what it can actually do. We aren't here to chat about what it says it can do. We're going to show you, which is very different than many of the webinars you can sign up for, where somebody will just sit at a desk and say, here's what I did with AI. Here's what I did with AI. And just talk about it and never actually show you and actually tell you, hey, now you can go try it. And so there's a lot of kind of what we used to call vaporware. There's a lot of that surrounding what AI can do as well. So, but
yeah,
Ted, you got our first demos here.
Yeah, and one other thing to just comment on demoing is Nathan already called out one of the kind of annoyances or things that trips us up quite frequently is features will change from day to day. That's one thing, and so buttons will move and we'll be like, wait a minute, it was here yesterday. Or the other thing that I think is happening a ton is the vendors are slowly rolling out new functionality or new UIs, and they will roll it out to certain users. And so you might have two different people inside a company on a subscription, and there'll be slight differences in the UI based upon this rolling deployment of new features. We're seeing this with Microsoft Copilot at the moment, where literally there's different SnapTech employees who see a slightly different UI when they log in over the past 30 to 45 days. So anyway, that's one thing. And the other thing is that things that used to be tasks or that went really quickly now take a long time. So a good example of that would just be rendering a PowerPoint in Microsoft PowerPoint with Copilot. It used to go relatively quickly, and we used to just be somewhat in love with the output. Now the output is vastly better, but you need a good 10 to 15 minutes to let the thing cook. So some of the things that we used to demo, we now can't demo them because if it's a more complex task or the user's expectation for quality is that much higher, the tools slow down, invest more time in the action, and we get a better outcome, but it takes more time, and therefore we often can't demo some of those things.
Yeah, and to your point too, Ted, like we're going to show everybody the steps to take. but we might also switch over and say, all right, rather than waiting for it to create the image, I created the image earlier today. Let's take a look at it now. So
Yeah, that's right.
we might time hop a little,
Yeah.
so to speak, but you are getting real demos that we have just done. And
Yeah.
so these capabilities should be available to you as well if you're using these tools.
Right. And the other thing is the most important thing you need to know as a business user is you need to be on a paid plan.
Yes.
If ChatGPT is the solution that you really feel most comfortable in or where you've had the most success, you need to be on the Plus plan or you need to be on Business ChatGPT. They're both roughly $20 per user per month. And the key reason for that is if you're on any freemium AI solution, your content can and will be used in the training of the large language models, and your own private intellectual property or client or customer data could be compromised or exposed if you use a free AI tool. So we strongly encourage use a paid tool. The terms and conditions and licenses of all the paid solutions give you the guarantee that your content is grounded. Your content that you use in your prompts or your projects or your GPTs, none of it will be used to train the model, and it stays private to you, the subscriber, or your organization. So just keep that in mind. One of the really important capabilities in Business ChatGPT is the ability to connect your account to your existing business applications. So most organizations use, say, Microsoft 365. And so what I did here is I clicked on the lower left, I clicked on settings, and then I click on apps. And these are the apps that have already connected to this particular account. I've connected the Outlook calendar, Outlook email, SharePoint, Teams, and then a couple, different other apps that I use pretty frequently. And if you want to add more, there's a huge library of apps that you can connect to. One of the things about ChatGPT, because they were the earliest, they have the largest ecosystem, and they were the ones that almost every organization, opened up integrations with their product. And so there are a ton of different apps you can integrate with. But as you can see here, is when I click on productivity, you can see that we're connected to a calendar, Outlook email, Teams, SharePoint. This is a demo environment that I'm in that has a fictitious company that has a Microsoft 365 subscription. And so that's kind of what the main thing we're going to be demoing. But you won't get this level of integration with the consumer versions of ChatGPT. If you're a business user, if you've got multiple people in your companies, if you want to be collaborating on projects together, Business ChatGPT is really your best choice. So what I want to do is demo some of those capabilities. So as you saw, we've connected this account to SharePoint. And in SharePoint, if I just go over to the Microsoft 365 environment that is our demo environment, and I click on Documents. Most organizations use SharePoint as kind of a file server, or at least a file collaboration platform. Sometimes they use it for intranet functionality. But what you see is in our demo environment, we've got different folders with different content. So I'm going to show you in a moment here some demos involving this folder called Wind Power. So here I've got a SharePoint set of documents and folders. I've loaded up a bunch of documents. What I'm trying to do with this demo is simulate what a typical organization would look like. You're working on a project, you're researching it, you gather a bunch of information from the internet, white papers, research reports, competitive intel, you put it all in a file in a folder, and then you have to create content from it. Research reports, outlines, memos, emails, etc. So we're trying to simulate that sort of experience here. And what we've done is we've connected this ChatGPT account to that SharePoint instance, And so let's just see how ChatGPT can interact with that, with the SharePoint environment. So I'm just going to copy and paste my prompts over here so we can go quickly here, but list the contents of the WinPower folder on SharePoint connected to this account. And so we're going to go ahead and click. And so it's now looking and interfacing with that folder. I'm gonna try something here. I think I had this set on the wrong setting. Nathan is going to show you why picking the right model is pretty important to the task at hand. And I had my settings set to the kind of the pro research model, and it was taking too long. And so I've now put it on the fast model, and now the demo should probably go a lot faster. So. And it should be going a little quicker than this, but.
And this is exactly what we talked about at the beginning, where, they are producing a lot better results, but also the wait time has increased.
Yeah.
There are ways, like if you're purchasing like the enterprise version, though, you don't get throttled as much. We have had a real cool expert on AI as a guest on our webinars, and he's like, man, I'm spending boatloads of money to get the ultimate enterprise because of this very reason. He's like, I'm using it all day, every day, and I can't wait for it to produce results.
Yeah. So anyway, that went a little slower but basically what we're showing is ChatGPT is able to interact with a folder on SharePoint. It's giving me a list of some of the documents there. It says the connector response was truncated, indicating there are additional files beyond those listed. If you'd like, I can also retrieve a complete inventory. So it gave me an abstract. There were probably 30 files there. It gave me 10 of them. And what you see is these are all files related to wind power. And so I'm trying to simulate here a research task. And then what you would commonly do is you would go do all your research, and then you'd probably want to create a report for your boss, or a report for your team, or send out an email summarizing your findings. And so here I've got a prompt that says, use the most recent files, using the most recent files, write a 500-word blog article summarizing the key issues for wind power in 2026. Use the files in the wind power folder on SharePoint for your context. And then I can go ahead and ask it to do that. And so again, it's gonna leverage the context of the files on SharePoint, and then write a blog for me.
And so just a quick comment on this too, because we get the question often, oh, well, we're a Microsoft shop, so should we have Copilot so that we can see our files? And that's where this is an important feature to understand about ChatGPT. And also then it takes more questions than just, do you use Microsoft? Well, then you should get Copilot or train, because it could be that your people are more well versed with ChatGPT because it's been something that they've been using personally. And so it can be to an advantage, if set up properly, that you then have ChatGPT connected to your company folders and data and things like that, so that people can move quicker because they're already trained up on it, they're already comfortable with it. Now, that doesn't mean that you just stop and don't train your people from a company perspective on what's acceptable and not, and you don't pause to make sure that your data is set up properly and secured. But just a quick comment there on the importance of knowing that ChatGPT is capable of this.
Yeah, and it's rendering the blog rather slowly. So I think I'm gonna come back and show that to everybody in a moment. You'll see its next task is to actually write the blog. The other thing that's very common that we want to do is you connect ChatGPT to your email. So when you're on Microsoft 365, you're using Outlook and Outlook Calendar in the Microsoft suite, and you can connect ChatGPT to your Microsoft instance, and you can ask it to do various things with your calendar or your email. So here I'm going to say, consult my Outlook calendar, and what are the next 5 dates of the Evolve Marketing Microboard. And so I'm just going to go ahead. So this is a recurring meeting that I have on my calendar, and I might say like, oh, well, you know, just real quick, I want to get, when is the next session of that happening? And it's now talking to my calendar, and it's telling me, okay, well, here's the next sessions. You've got the next session on July 10th, August 14th. It looks like it's the second Friday of every month. Great. Okay, now I've got that answered. Another thing you want to do, like I think, you know, what people are doing all the time, is leveraging ChatGPT to write emails for you. So once you connect ChatGPT Business to your email, it can read all of that email. It can find this particular email from a particular sender. It has the context. And so let me just show you an example of that. So I just say to ChatGPT, I have not heard back yet from Brandon Gould and Robert Berkey about who they are adding to the marketing microboard. Write an email to them explaining what the group is all about and why they should nominate a marketing colleague. Consult my Outlook email for context. And so I'm going to go ahead and just give that a quick demo there. So it searches through my email. It sees the names. It says, oh, I found, you know, I can track down the context of this particular, you know, back and forth I'm having with these two individuals. And now it should be able to give me a email that is written on point. Okay, and we'll go to the blog here. Like, let's just talk, you know, in the interest of keeping the demos rolling, I'm going to hop back to my blog. Here's my blog, Wind Power in 2026. Growth is no longer the hard part. And you have a nicely written, you know, 500-word blog that leverages the content that was sitting on that SharePoint folder. Now, if we go back here, let's see here. Okay, so here it is. It's now given me the email contents, and I can go ahead and go ahead and basically open this over in Outlook, and so it'll actually spawn Outlook for the web, or my Outlook for the web, and it'll go and put me in a position to just drop in the email addresses of the people I'm sending to. But if we just take a look at this email saying, hey, Brandon and Robert, I wanted to follow up on the Evolve Marketing Microboard and ask each of you to nominate a marketing colleague from your organization to participate. Boom. Okay, so the email is done, and here, with just one click of a button, it goes over here, and I can go over and just go Brandon, and yeah. Anyway, I need to get their email addresses and drop them in there, but it basically pops it right into an email. Again, so deepening that integration between the things. So I want to just show one more demo before I turn things over to Nathan, really quickly here. The other thing the other cool capability in ChatGPT is what's called, which is called projects. And what a project allows you to do is to constrain the context for and what I want to do is I want to see the project. I want to do a new chat on this project. So in a project, projects are key because they allow you to constrain the context that you give the AI tool. One of the big problems we always face with AI is that sometimes the tool or the prompt wanders around and incorporates a bunch of content that you might not think is very important. What I've done instead here is on a project, you can take these specific documents that you want the prompt to reference, and this is called giving it context. And here we're specifically narrowing the context so that we get an output that is, just spot on and it only consults the documents that we actually did the research on. And so in this case, I already did this one, and what I basically asked is, hey, give me a quick memo and summarize the key trends on solar in 2026. And it analyzes all those documents and then gives me this nice crisp memo, formatted in bullets how I like it, and gives me the key information I need. So couple key business use cases of leveraging ChatGPT for Business with your Outlook environment, your Microsoft 365 environment for a lot of different business use cases. Nathan, can I turn things over to you?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do I need to hand you controls, or can you grab the controls?
No, I think I'm hitting share screen, and it should give me the opportunity. All right. So I'm going to share my screen over here. Let's see. It's just taking a moment to warm up. Are you seeing it yet?
I am.
All right, marvelous. So the first thing that I wanted to show, and Ted gave a bit of a heads up, kind of like a teaser trailer. But what I want to show you is a prompt of model choices. And so model choices allow you to tell ChatGPT how quickly you want it to work and also how deeply you want it to work. There's sometimes you just want a quick answer. You don't want to wait, and you don't need it to be a very deeply thought out answer with tons of references and things like that. And so I'm going to show you real quick. We're just going to be over here at new chat, and we're going to throw a prompt in here that says create a 500-word blog on why multi-factor authentication matters more in 2026 than before. So this is a very practical topic for us. We speak about cybersecurity. We speak about remaining safe online. This is a helpful tool, but why does it matter now in 2026? Have things changed? And so we are going to, though, ask it to produce something instantly. Did you see that? I just toggled down under my right here under the choice of the mode that I want it to go through. And so I'm going to say instant, so it gives me a answer quickly. And then we send the prompt, and very, very quickly, boom. Oh, look at how fast that was. Man, way faster than when Ted was asking it to do stuff. That's because I remember ChatGPT's birthday and send it wonderful chocolates. So it produced it very quickly. And, just at first glance, at first blush, it looks pretty good. It's covering a few good headings here. It adds a critical layer of protection. I like that. Ransomware and business email compromise continue to rise. That's a big problem that we got to watch out for. But now we're going to go back and we're going to hit new chat again. And this time, though, we're going to use the exact same prompt, but instead of instant, we're going to go down to thinking. And I'm going to throw that prompt in, and we're going to hit send prompt again, but this time it's going to think about it. And so here it goes thinking, and it's searching, and it came back pretty fast. But what I want you to notice is that things have changed here. Do you notice these little footnotes? Boom, it's referencing an article by Microsoft. their digital defense report of 2025. It's referencing CISA or KISA or however you want to pronounce that acronym. And what is that, Ted? Do you remember what that stands for?
It's the part of Department of Homeland Security, and it's pronounced CISA. But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I was making a silly joke because I'm Canadian and I sometimes say words differently than you. And it's referencing Microsoft again. It's also referencing Tech Radar. And so here you have a more fully fleshed out article. And it took a tiny bit longer in this case, but it comes back with deeper thinking. It comes back with sourced data so that you can even go in deeper and take a look at those sourced articles and decide if you want to include more or not. So I just want to highlight that. That is a very, very, very important feature that a lot of times people overlook and they just leave it at the default of auto. But sometimes you don't want ChatGPT just trying to predict what you want. At times, you're going into a meeting, you have a quick question you need an answer to. Clicking that instant button helps you to get something right in front of you, right when you need it immediately. So, model choices in ChatGPT, super, super cool, super powerful. All right, the next thing that I want to show that we often embrace and is really, really powerful is right here on the left, this button that says Explore GPTs. And I'm actually going to increase my screen size a bit to hopefully show people more so. All right, so Explore GPTs. This is where we get, if you click on that, you have the option for My GPTs or create your GPT. And so if you create it, guess what? You can even use the prompting style that's in ChatGPT to help you create your custom GPT. And now the example that I want to show you is I'm not going to take the time to actually create it with you right now. It's there. You can ask it a bunch of questions and it'll help you create it. Like it says here, I'll help you build it. Say something like make a creative who helps generate visuals for new products, or make a software engineer who helps format my code. And so it helps you to see how you can actually craft something here. What I want to show you though is what we've already created. So I'm going to click on, and this is where it ends up getting stored after you have created one. So under Explore GPTs, My GPTs, or it will show up in your left column here under GPTs, where I already have one called SnapTech IT Blogging Booster. Now, if you've been on pretty much any one of our webinars, we will have shown you this. This is such a powerful use case of ChatGPT and AI. And so I have trained it to know our company voice because I fed it when I was creating it. I fed it our website. I fed it our branding guidelines. I fed it recent blogs that we had written and we approve of and we like. And so we get the voice, we get it writing in our style. And then on top of that, what we do is to save time also, we publish all of our blogs via WordPress and another tool called Elementor. And there's all kinds of other questions that we have to answer beyond just writing the article itself for blogging. We have to have keywords, we have to have excerpts, we have to have headings, all those sorts of things. And so I have built that into this custom GPT to answer it back. And so I'm going to show that to you. And so what we're going to do is we record our webinars and we get a transcript out of our webinars. And so I'm going to take a recent transcript. It'll let me grab it. My button is not working. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a file. Here we go. Well, all right. Let me grab it. Okay, so I'm adding the Word doc here. It is a transcript, and then I'm going to say write 375. No, I want a 600 word blog on this transcript. Don't forget my publishing package. And so now you can see very minimal prompting because I've already built in tons of the details into the custom GPT. So it knows I want an excerpt. I'm going to hit send as I keep talking about this. So it knows I want the excerpt. It knows I want the keywords. It knows I want the metadata written up. And so here we go. It's starting and it gives me the excerpt. And then as we keep going down and it keeps writing, we're going to get to, there we go, the publishing package. Look at what all it did. And I just had to list this in there and create and train it to begin with. So it gives me the key phrase, SEO title, a slug, meta description, key phrase synonyms, related key phrase synonyms, suggested internal links. It gives you a suggestion for what image you should create. And then I could even go to ChatGPT and say, hey, create an image that goes along with this and use its description that it gave me. And so again, this is a very, very, very practical way to utilize content you are creating. And remember, this script, this transcript is from a webinar we've already done. So it's our own content, it's our own opinion, and we are sharing it out in this way and creating it into a blog article and adding it to our website there. So I wanted to show that to you. The next demo that I want to share with you, and Ted already showed you how ChatGPT can connect to different business apps, especially in the Microsoft space. And so what I'm going to show you is a little bit additional where you can connect to a few more apps that are helpful. And so the one app that I want to show you right now is through Canva. And so creating images. Now, here's what I'll say. You can Google and watch a bunch of YouTube tutorials on how to use Canva and ChatGPT. And they're going to show you some amazing stuff. But a lot of the time, it's not working. So what I'm going to show you today is a very practical use of it in order to make you more powerful and faster at creating images and editing images. And so what we're going to do, and so that we aren't waiting too long for this, I'm going to grab my prompt. And so Ted already showed you how you go about connecting apps. And so you would do the exact same thing for Canva, but you would just find Canva right here in searching apps, Canva, and then it's going to show up right here. You click on it, and then you can connect it. I'm already connected, and so it's going to show me that I can start a chat if I want to. But what I want to show you is what I find to be the best way to use the power of ChatGPT and Canva. And so oftentimes you're going to be working in ChatGPT, and it's super helpful to utilize its image creation. And what I want to tell you about the difference, because I know a lot of people say, hey, Nathan, Canva has an AI tool within it. And it does. But the Canva tool is still lagging a bit behind when it comes to image creation and text. And so let me show you what I mean when we look at a version of an image created directly in Canva with the Canva AI. And so it did okay. It looked at our website. I actually prompted it to say, hey, look at this particular page on our website and create an ad for our AI Jumpstart package. And it did pretty good. But look down here. It says hand-on workshop plus Striati Casalora session for leadership teams. Ted, are we offering a Striati Casalora with our AI Jumpstart package?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, well, it's otherworldly, this language that Canva came up with. However, if we go to ChatGPT and I put in that same prompt, create a wide image I can use in HubSpot emails to promote our AI Jumpstart offering, learn about our offering here, there's the website, and I can hit send prompt, and ChatGPT is going to create an image, and it does a great job of pulling the text in and all of that stuff. And so while it's humming along, I'm actually going to show you when I created it here earlier today. And so let me go to this chat. Okay, so it gave me a couple of versions I could choose from. It didn't use our exact logo, but I really liked the kind of the 3D imaging, like putting these things on an angle. It got a bunch of little icons in here. All of the text looks good to me right now. And so then I could ask it, open this in Canva so I can edit it. Because what I want to do is go in and just change out SnapTech IT and put in our own logo. And so it does that. And because I'm connected to Canva. And so it gives us this option to edit in Canva. And I just click on that. And I'm going to open the link. And all of a sudden, I'm in Canva. And you can see it pulled the whole image over. And it's just taken a minute to freshen up. But look at what it already did. It already analyzed different elements. So I can just click on it and delete it. I can click on a few other things. I can delete those to make sure that then I can just grab our logo and I can put it in there. I can also make sure, double check that all of the fonts are SnapTech branded fonts that we want to use. And so this is a really, really powerful way to quickly maneuver through the connection of the apps in Canva. So that's why I wanted to show there. I will say, though, that, yeah, you can create an image in Canva, but then you do have to do some, like you can use Canva's AI, but then you will have to use some of the additional tools that Canva has in there to actually piece out the different elements on the image so that then you can edit it. And so the other way of starting in ChatGPT, opening up in Canva, it kind of jumps you ahead a few steps because it knows what you are intending to do with it, that you want to be able to edit it. All right, so that's a little bit about Canva right there. So next, what I want to show you is connecting, and I want to take a look and be very conscious of everyone's time. And so I want to just show real quick that you can also connect to, I love this, you can connect to retail stores as well, because it's not just about getting productive at work. Sometimes it's about being productive personally so you can be more productive at work. And so I've connected ChatGPT to my Walmart account. And recently, my kids were signed up to go to summer camp. And so I'm going to show you how I prompted it. And so I'm just going to go back. For time's sake, I'm going to show you how I already ran this. But I said the prompt was, help me shop for my kids' summer camp. Here's the packing list. And I just copied the packing list straight from the email that was sent to me. And you can see that this is like extensive. They really gave you a lot of descriptions with some of these items you needed to get. And I was like, man, I don't want to have to read all this. ChatGPT helped me out with Walmart. And so I did that, and look at what it did. It came back and it broke it down into a search of, okay, Nathan, here's the list of apparel you got to shop through and select those items. It went through the toiletries and it brought up some different suggestions based on the list. So sunscreen was one of them. A shower caddy was another. Bug spray was another. And it gives you multiple options though, and you can view more. The cool thing is, take a look at this right here. I can just say, okay, like there's some options, but here it just was add to cart. Here, take a look at this shower caddy options. Pops up and it's gonna, and my internet's running a little bit slow because I got GoToWebinar running and also AI and everything. So here we go. You know what? I don't want the single pack. I want the 3-pack because I got multiple kids. And so we'll just go ahead and add that to cart too. All right. Now it's connected to my Walmart, so I could just check out right here if I wanted to. And boom, you've saved a ton of time instead of having to search item by item by item. You can just also go back and instead of, you know, it lists them all out. And so there you go. All right, so we're going to X out of that. And again, you can go through toiletries, footwear, bedding, towels, more, all that sort of stuff. And then you can ask it to keep a running checklist as you're adding items, different things like that. So it can make you that much more productive. All right, so that's connected to a retail store like Walmart. You can also connect to booking.com. You can look for, if you're looking for rental cars for a trip that you have coming up, and this was a prompt that I did earlier as well. I have a trip coming up to San Jose. And so I asked it to find me a car rental for the dates out of the San Jose airport. And it showed me the options of what I can do, showed me the pricing options, and then it kind of gave me a list. And then I said, give me the cheapest options. And it did that. It showed me what those are. So there's plenty of things that you can do. One last quick connection that I want to show you. Ted showed you how it connects to your Outlook calendar. You can also connect it to your Google Suite calendar, so your Google calendar. And I'm on a bit of a health journey. I'm trying to get more fit. And so I connected it to my Google calendar and I said, block my calendar every Tuesday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. and title the meeting, Go for a Run. Set an alert reminder 15 minutes before to go off. So in one quick sentence, it did that. And it's starting June 18th, 2026. And look, guess what it did? Here's my Google Calendar. There it is. Go for a run, 8 a.m. And it's showing up every day. There we go, Tuesday through Friday. And now I don't have to go through all kinds of settings and options. I can just tell it, hey, do this thing for me, and it does that. And again, this was the packing list here. Brutal. So glad I didn't have to read it. Ha! Actually, my wife read it and she then gave me a summary and I added items one at a time to the cart. It was so annoying. And so I wish I would have done it through ChatGPT. But I just thought of that demo today. All right, so the last thing that I'm going to show you is Codex. So Codex is great. It is kind of ChatGPT's answer to, there's different elements in different AIs like that treat
Claude
it
Cowork.
as,
Claude Cowork is
Claude
probably
Cowork is one of them. But here we go. So the way that you access it is you would click on Codex and you would actually have to download it. It's an app that sits on your desktop. And so I've already done it. So it's on my app. I'm going to open Codex and here it is. And so here's the cool thing. This is a prompt. I'm going to put it actually in our chat. I want to give you this prompt because it's super, super helpful. So let me get over to our chat here, and I'm just going to grab it because this is how you can kind of start up experimenting with Codex. And so here's the prompt. It's in the chat for everyone. Copy that and use it. It is, I want to start an automation. So take a look at this. I want to set up an automation, briefly explain how automations work in Codex, ask me a few questions to figure out what I'd like Codex to do and when it should run. And so it does. It gave me a quick little interview session so that I don't have to twiddle my thumbs thinking, oh, what should I do with it? What should I do with it? And so here we go. Here's something that I did with it though. I created, I asked it, can you create an automation of sending 5 LinkedIn direct messages each morning? So it told me that it can do a daily automation, but an important adjustment that it can remind me to do it, but it can't actually go into LinkedIn and do the actual message sending. So I asked it, okay, instead, can you identify people that I should send LinkedIn messages to? And so in my spare time, I love to speak at leadership conferences. And one of my favorite places to go are theme parks because I love theme parks, and I also love getting free tickets to send my kids to go to theme parks with us. And so I asked it, hey, I want you to at 8:50 each morning, US and Canada only, include CEOs, GMs, VP level, director level, all of these things. And I want you to be running on LinkedIn and then feed me 5 people each day I should be connecting with. And so it does that. It comes up, hey, here we go. Here are the 5 profiles I suggest for review. It saves me so much time rather than doing a search and search and search. It allows me to just click on its 5 suggestions. Now, this is super duper powerful because it helps you to take away the distractions of searching, and it just feeds you 5 items right there that you can take action on. And so it's a big, big time savings right there. And again, it ran this morning and it gave me 5 more suggestions of people that I should go take a look at and connect with here. And it even grabbed mailing addresses for the theme parks and their locations. So I just wanted to show that thing right there because that's been a really big kind of nut to crack in the AI space is how do you make AI help you on LinkedIn or different things like that, because a lot of these tools that have specific sign-ins and all of that, they don't allow AI just to run and do things for your account. But if you can have it just feed you info and take away the time it takes to get the answers you need, then you're already off to the races and you can take action that much faster. So that's a little from me, Ted. Back to you. I know we have another webinar to invite people to get registered for.
Can you make me the presenter?
Yep. Oh, you
Okay.
are. You're doing
Okay.
it.
All right. Super. So just to wrap everybody up, sorry we went a few minutes over. We had a lot to show you. We could probably go another 2 or 3 hours. We do 2-hour and 4-hour hands-on workshops pretty frequently. So in any event, if any of today's content or other content we've shown you around AI excites you and you realize I got to get more people in my organization focused on leveraging AI to boost productivity, to do new and creative things in your sales and marketing operations, in your operations, in your accounting and finance teams, reach out to us because we have various projects and services that we can activate for you as a client to help you turbocharge what you're doing with AI. So go ahead and click the QR code on the left if you would like to have an AI readiness discussion with us. and to explore some of those topics. And if you are just loving our webinar content and you want to hear what's happening with Google Gemini for Business next month, you can click the QR code on the right, and Nathan and I will be back in July to share with you some of the cool things that Google is doing over in the Gemini product. So with that, thank you very much for attending our live webinar today, and thanks for tuning in on the on-demand version on YouTube. This was another SnapTech IT monthly webinar. Nathan, thanks for joining me and sharing all this great content, and we'll see you on a future session. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Ted. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Bye.